everybody to this week's episode of Linking the Blocks, the ChainsAtlas podcast. I'm Jan, one of the founders of ChainsAtlas. We had a few changes in general and a few things that we had to take care of over the last few weeks. That's why we had a relatively long absence. My apologies for that, but we will be back here in the normal rhythm every 2 weeks. We might move it to another day, but Sumta here will keep you informed about those changes. Today we have a very dear and very special guest, the founder of Serey Network in Cambodia, who has a really interesting story in personal life, but particularly around blockchain. And he built one of the, if not the most advanced social fi platform out there. Welcome. I think it's best you announce your name yourself, because I tend to butcher my name, so I leave it to you to introduce yourself maybe a little bit. Usually, the first question to our guests is a little bit about their story into blockchain and or AI. So, would be cool if you could give us a little bit of a background and also about Serey and why it is so dear to you. I know your story and the story of that platform are quite interlinked, at least the last 6-7 years.
Yes. Hello, Jan. Thank you for having me here in this podcast. And that was a very good introduction. My name is Chhay Lem Lim. I am a Cambodian, but I used to live in the Netherlands. Born Cambodian, but moved to Holland when I was 60 years old. And I came back to Cambodia in 2008 to find out more about the country and about my roots. And as you guys remember, in 2008, there was the year that the global financial crisis happened, right? And I was really fascinated about it. I felt like I remember I was sitting sleep in Battambang in a guest house, all by myself. I was watching Bloomberg or NBC, and I saw like what was his name again? Something with Hank Paulson. Yeah, Hank Paulson. Announcing they needed an $800 billion rescue package to rescue the whole bank crisis.
As an infamous German banker from Deutsche Bank once said, it's just peanuts.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry for interrupting you. Sorry.
Okay. And so that was I was so intrigued about this crisis. I started to dig into it, why it happened, and my story ended up understanding how central bank works, how the Federal Reserve actually created this crisis artificially through through the manipulation of money supply by interest rates, and of course also by borrowing money to the government. And so I thought, what was the solution for this? And then I found out the best way to hedge against myself, against this crisis in the future, is gold and silver, because that was the best form of money that protects against hyperinflation. At that time, I really thought hyperinflation is going to happen. Like the dollar will go to zero, the world will, move to gold and silver. But it didn't happen, and gold and silver didn't do very well. Actually, they rose just a little bit. But until 2013, I watched YouTube, and then I heard about Bitcoin, and I watched YouTube, and I saw this famous guy called Roger Ver. He made a bet. Roger Ver, he made a bet against the world, or against the fee organization, and he said he's willing to put 100 to 1 that Bitcoin is going to outperform silver. So me, as a free market thinker, a believer, and a belief in silver, I thought this guy's nuts. So like I thought, I didn't know who he was, right? And I thought this guy's nuts. But then I looked into Bitcoin, and I thought, wow, this is quite interesting because with Bitcoin, it can replace the functions of the Federal Reserve. So it could actually become real sound money. And also, why I'm a big proponent for sound money is that I believe that because government and the Federal Reserve have the power to create money, they can also they can cause a lot of wars through this, because wars are being funded by money creation actually, right? If money creation wasn't there, all the governments in the world, they have to have a very tight budget management. But now, because the federal, they can create so much money, that's why you also see that the US has gone to so many wars for. So and then I dig into Bitcoin, and I thought, well, this technology is really awesome. The technology behind Bitcoin called blockchain. So that's when I got introduced to blockchain actually. And
So you're
yeah, so
you're an OG. You've been there in the very early times.
yeah, you can call me an OG. Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
fascinating. Yeah.
Yep.
So
But
when did you get the idea to build something of your own?
there was after the bull market in 2017. So in 2017, we saw Bitcoin rose from a few $100s to almost $20,000, as I remember. Ethereum rose from maybe $10 to several $100. So in 2017, in that bull market, I was a bit lucky to make some money, and I thought, hey, blockchain would be really awesome to to promote creativity in Cambodia, because we can apply blockchain to reward the authors or content creators, and if the content creators can earn money by writing good content, maybe that would be a really good method to how to nourish creativity in Cambodia. So that was my idea to apply blockchain for blogging, and there was and in 2017 the project Serey was announced. 2018 it went live. Our blockchain went live. Yep, and now 7 years later, Serey is still there, and we have built quite an amazing platform. I think you can see Serey now as becoming like a WordPress for Web3. So instead of just blogging, people can actually build their own social publishing platform that they fully own themselves, not under any large corporation, but that they fully own and fully control. And
So
yeah, so
tell me
yes,
maybe
that's
a
it.
little bit. Yeah, tell me maybe a little bit about the early days and the entrepreneurial life. So I don't think you did something like this before. Did you found a company before, or is this your first time?
I came to Cambodia because I wanted to come to on holidays, but then I got stuck buying land for my mother, and so I did some farming. After that, in 2010, 11, I started to experiment with real estate. I set up a sole proprietorship in Cambodia to mediate in the real estate, and then I imported machineries, agricultural machineries in Cambodia. But after this, but this was my passion. Yeah, my passion was really like blockchain, and that's why I've been stuck to blockchain now.
Yeah, I can attest to this, knowing you for a little bit. You really bleed blockchain. It's very close to you. I can definitely tell that from my interactions with you so far. And you really believe in the idea behind it, which honestly, looking at the ecosystem and the community nowadays, it's rare. And I really admire that because 90% of people in crypto nowadays, I would argue, are in it purely for the money. And knowing a bit about you, I know that to make this project happen, you rather put a lot of money into it instead of getting a lot of money out of it. It's quite successful in terms of numbers of users and so on, but it's certainly not has not been a vehicle that made you rich. So maybe you can talk a little bit about how you. I know. I mean, you talked about it earlier. You went back to Cambodia because you felt you wanted to reconnect, maybe also give back a little bit to the country of your ancestors, your home country, so to speak. How and maybe you can also explain to the audience a bit the meaning of the word Serey, which is very beautiful in this context. So your intentions in building this. I think it would be really great to hear a little bit about that because I think it's very rare nowadays in a crypto community.
Oh yes, okay. The word Sarai comes from Sarai Pip, the Khmer word, which means liberty or freedom. Because I think blockchain eventually, because of its decentralized nature, can bring digital sovereignty to the people. Eventually to make people independent and empower us with the God-given right to be free. And for me, I invested in the development myself for the last 7 years. I actually thought that was very normal. Yeah, I thought like every founder should invest something or almost all the funds from themselves. Until I met you and you said that's very uncommon, and I was a bit surprised because, but but that is true, right, Jan? Not many founders they invest their own money.
Nowadays, especially in crypto, that's very uncommon. Yeah, it's quite rare. Generally, most venture-funded companies. I mean, obviously, if you really believe in an idea, you put some of your savings into it. You put your energy into it. I'm not saying founders don't do that, but rarely go founders to those extremes as you did. And I mean, there is an argument to be made either way. And I think it's also motivational. Is it a motivation as purely for profit? Do you want to build a company and make money out of it? Obviously, you go a lot more rational about it and a lot more calculated. And you try to get the necessary funding from outside sources, from investors. Or is it a project that is very close to your heart where you want to achieve a certain outcome and it's not purely about making money? And I think you fall in the second category. And then obviously things are a little bit different. But particularly, and I think most people here will agree, in Web3 and crypto, It is very, very uncommon that somebody is that devoted to a project, especially nowadays. Maybe 10 years ago, things were a little different, but most projects are between the next meme coin, some somewhat dodgy or completely dodgy Ponzi scheme, um, or another DeFi project that's frankly mostly uninspired. There's some good tech in between. I mean, ChainsAtlas is one good example, but and I know we put a lot of our energy, our money into it, and but it's harder to find funding for those than for the very straightforward projects that are basically in the realm of DeFi and exploitation of certain aspects of the industry. So you see that a lot. And it's, in my personal opinion, becoming rarer and rarer to see individuals like you that really build for the sake of building.
Yes, I do. I do also feel that it's our duty. It's our duty to make the world a better place, and even if we have to sacrifice some of our own money, I think it's easy in life to to work, get resources, and then sustain your own life or your family. Or but I've always thought deep inside my heart that there's more into life. That we all have a duty uh, to make to improve the world, and yeah, that's a bit of the meaning of life for me. Like and without it, to be honest, I think I would feel like very empty inside. If I would just focus on being having fun and not really trying to explore ideas that we can make the world a better place, it would give me a quite of an empty feeling. And that's why Sarai is really deep in my heart, um, and I really believe in it. It's like my child, actually.
Yeah, I think generally, maybe it is also interesting to learn a bit for our audience about the individual context, about your upbringing and Cambodia as a country. What made you go back from a quite comfortable life in the Netherlands into definitely not easier life in a country like Cambodia? And then really take the step and really try to help uh, people there. And I know that one of the motivations for you and your platform is to give people a voice that don't really have one otherwise, or at least not easily. Maybe you can talk about that story. I think that it plays a big role in what you do.
Yes. When I went to the Netherlands, I always feel like as a refugee, as a Cambodian, there's not many Cambodians there, that I was different. And because being different, I think kind of pushes me to think universally. So like maybe other people they see me, they say I'm different, and then I always try to compare. But what if they were in my shoes, or what if I would be in their shoes? So this always these questions hang in my mind. Always repeat in my mind. I always continue to ask these questions. And I've never really felt at home in Europe, even though it's so much better, easier there, safer there. I never felt at home. Until I came to Cambodia. Cambodia is a poorer country, but there's more freedom to do something like business is much easier to do. And but I also felt like the uh, technology is so underutilized in Cambodia, and I thought, yeah, blockchain would tremendously help the Cambodian youth, because Cambodian youth, they go to school school, they get taught things, and there's not really out of the box thinking. And yeah, with blockchain, I want to use it to reward users to think out of the box.
How do you see blockchain adoption in the region? I mean, Cambodia particularly, but also the surrounding countries. I mean, I talked about it before in podcasts about the opening up of countries like Vietnam, now Thailand, I think Philippines to a degree, where nowadays you can use stable coins and pay with the local QR code, things like that. And there is, I think in Vietnam, almost 50% of the population holds some crypto. It's a very high number. Cambodia is a little bit, I mean, I have personal experience there, as probably many in our audience know. It's not quite there yet. It's still the general perception of crypto, rather, not blockchain, as being a scam. And obviously, the regulatory bodies haven't really decided on regulation yet, as opposed to some of the surrounding countries. So, how do you see the next year, maybe 2 years, in terms of crypto and blockchain adoption in Cambodia, particularly, but also the region? Because I think it's quite exciting to see what's happening right now. I think we live in a really interesting time when it comes to that. A few months ago, if I told anybody I just paid with stablecoin in Vietnam, they would have declared me completely insane. And now I do it every day, almost when I'm there. So, would love to hear your perspective on that.
Yeah, I think Cambodia is even though Cambodia is quite behind with technology compared to the Western countries, I think it also provides an advantage to Cambodia because we don't have like a good working SWIFT system or a good working banking system. So because of this, it pushed the national bank to create their own decentralized banking settlement system, which is super successful, called Bacon. So in this way, you can see that sometimes when you have this disadvantage, it pushes a country to uh, outperform, advanced countries. And I think Cambodia, because it's quite small, it might have a huge advantage compared to other countries. What I see, like in China they are really they are kind of banning crypto. They push the stable coins or the CBDC.
But I have to say,
Europe
there's a
also.
bit of a small change slowly. There is East Shenzhen and there is Shanghai Blockchain Week this year again. So even China seems to slowly open up. But yeah, sorry for interrupting you there. But
That would be great. But because they are very big countries, the changes come very slowly. Cambodia is a small country. If they want to decide to exploit this huge opportunity of this, let's say, $100 trillion market opportunity, they just need to create. I think if you want to understand how to improve a country, the main thing, the most important thing to look at is the rules and regulations of the country. This is even more important human resource or capital or technology. If the rules of and regulation of a country is very provide many benefits for entrepreneurs, for technology companies, um, for many startups. Capital and talent will flow to this country by itself.
there are some questions, yeah. Maybe let's see how far we can go with those. How will blockchain ensure transparency and accountability in AI decision making? So I guess this is targeting ChainsAtlas. You will see it in our DevNet, which will come out very, very soon. The legal things we had to clear out are almost finished. We are almost ready to put it out there. The technology is ready for a while now. And you'll see that you in our blockchain, as the inference, basically the thinking of the AI is happening fully validated on chain, like a smart contract on Solana or Ethereum. You can see all actions taken by AI, and they are clearly differentiated between actions taken by a human wallet or non AI wallet on our chain. And you can also see the interaction between AI and humans. So you have a very different traceability and accountability of AI actions through blockchain. I hope that is answering the question. Outside of this, maybe as an explanation for those that are not aware, all AI that's currently in use in blockchain is not running validated on a blockchain. Even if it's called an on-chain agent, it's not running on-chain. It's somewhere in a cloud environment, or it is in someone's basement, but it's not on-chain. And that means that every AI usage in blockchain introduces a highly centralized element. And there is obviously a problem because you're depending on whoever is running that AI, and you need to trust that company, that person. And that's what ChainsAtlas is solving. And we're going to use it for all our AI models that we create on the Web2 side. So we will have a lot of really interesting things on that blockchain. How does ChainsAtlas ensure smooth interaction between AI agents across multiple blockchains without running into scalability or security issues? That is an interesting question. Thanks for asking. For one, the technology I just mentioned. So our AI agents are fully secure on-chain events, like a smart contract would be on something like Ethereum or Solana. So you can equate it with that, just that it's AI. It's a full large language model. When it comes to interaction with other blockchains, that will be a next step. That will be an extension of that blockchain based on the technology that ChainsAtlas has developed a few years ago before we started building AI. And at interoperability, multi-chain technology, you can see the core of this in our Atlas IDE, which I know a lot of you have tried out, and it enables you to execute code that is written in different languages and executed on different chains. Now, we will extend our blockchain with a set of decentralized nodes that facilitate communication between those chains and are specialized for AI to execute those pieces of logic, those smart contracts on different chains. That is somewhat similar to what you would see in Chainlink or Layer 0, but specialized highly on AI. And that's a decentralized network as well, is basically part of the blockchain and therefore secure. The scalability element, that's a few highly technical tricks we are applying on our blockchain, a few inventions done by our tech team in Paris. And I'm sure once they hop on a AMI, which is hopefully happening soon, these guys are super busy, they will elaborate in more detail what that means. But what I can say is that our AI operations are highly scalable because of those inventions. But I leave it to them to explain in detail. If you have questions, though, of technical nature, how that works, please shoot it on Telegram or wherever. We see that we answer this in as much detail as you wish. I hope that's halfway satisfactory as an answer.
Yes, it stopped raining, so I can hear you guys.
Oh, it's much better now. Okay, then maybe we can just continue. Maybe we just start with those questions, and usually discussion will evolve around it anyways. So the next question for you was, what makes moral maximalism unique in building social platforms? What ethical challenges arise when combining decentralized systems with AI autonomy?
Oh, that's a great question. It's like these questions are like I rarely hear people ask this, but this I think this really I think the blockchain can provide as the infrastructure of human interactions, and AI is like the functioning layer on top of it. And so if we can so the task of humans, I think, is to try to find the most moral uh, way of interacting with each other, and blockchain can be built to achieve that, actually, because um, but you can have smart contracts, you can have agreement on the blockchain, you can have decentralized uh, governance. And if we somehow allow to uh, experiment with different rules of laws on using blockchain, if we, then the blockchain can really um, yeah could eventually find the best way, the best form of societal organizations. So the best moral yeah the best moral way for us to live. And AI can become, let's say, the objective intermediary. Like, for example, you can create an online court using AI, and then you become independent of the bias of humanity. Humans are biased, inherently biased, but if you have AI that values truth, um, it become it might be able to the best entity to function as an online court. Imagine AI as an online court, blockchain as a governance structure. This is the perfect, perfect. This could be the perfect system for humanity.
Couldn't have said it better. I totally agree. And there you also see already the connection between Serey and ChainsAtlas.
Yes, yeah,
Thanks a lot.
yes, yeah. I think the first time that we met, I mentioned that I'm interested in ChainsAtlas because I want to. Eventually I want to experiment with the free market of online courts, so that so that people can just use AI as a objective way of solving uh, problems.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a fascinating topic. Our lab just basically released a model, which is a reasoning model, and it is basically a virtual data scientist. So solving problems, right? You give it a problem, it uses analytics, data science to come to a conclusion to solve that problem, and it's doing it highly automated and without human bias. Right? And that's very interesting.
Yep.
And
And
even though it
yeah,
still thinks
and,
it's DeepSeek when you ask it, because we used a number of LLMs as a basis and then expanded it. I know some in the community were asking about that. It's a very, very powerful model, specially trained for data science. So don't expect it to be hyper conversational, but if you have a true data-driven problem, that's your model to go to. So I really believe that, like AI is probably the better governance over many humans. There might be exceptions, but humans are always driven by emotions to a degree, and AI isn't.
yes, I agree. Yeah. So this is all the reason why maybe I can tell you more about the architecture of Sarai. So
Yeah, go
The
ahead.
Serey blockchain, when somebody, yeah, when somebody wants to create their own social publishing platform, we give them the option. Do they want to fall under the rule of law, the law of regulation of a country? They can choose that. Like for example, if they want to fall under the United States rule of law, Cambodian rule of law, they can choose it, and then they have to follow these laws. If something goes wrong, if they break this law, they are eligible to this country's law. But on Sarai, I'm also implementing our own rule of law on the blockchain, which means on our platform we will have our own constitution, and people can also say, I want to become independent. I don't want to fall under the under any country's rule of law. Then they become independent, and then they fall under the constitution of Sarai. But even if they fall under the constitution of Sarai, they have the freedom, the space to create their own rules inside their platform, which means they have to follow the basic rules of the Constitution of Sarai, but they can also, but there's freedom to, you know, to add smaller rules. So by doing this, we create a really like an ecosystem of digital societies, and imagine that. And the beautiful thing about blockchains is on the Sarai blockchain we have, let's say, nodes running, and imagine if a node, all these nodes, they can do governance, right? So if one of the nodes say, you know what, I don't trust myself, I'm a human, I think this AI can do a better job than me. I'm going to implement this AI to vote in case of if there's big issues on the platform in a democratic way. So then they can implement AI for as node as part. So yeah, this is the infrastructure that I think that we can combine in, blockchain and AI to really uh, provide a solution to the growth, how to uh, organize our societies.
Yeah, it's a fascinating concept, and I love to see how it plays out. It's definitely an interesting platform, and it's different than any I've seen before. Let's see how it plays out. Um, I know you had quite a significant growth over the last few months, which is really fascinating. So, yeah, love the idea. Another question from Shisha Sukit. I hope that was correct. Any estimated time on TGE, and what's the current updates with the recent Zili activity? Will there be more activity in the future? TGE is scheduled for Q4, given market situation and our internal changes, but is very much on track. Regarding Zili, it's a long story. We ran some tests and had to find some irregular activities within the Zili Quest. We'll provide more information about that shortly and how we plan to solve this. But as we looked into it and analyzed the results and analyzed the behavior, we are not sure who is actually a real user, to be very frank with you guys. So, as we always said, we pride ourselves in trying to build a proper community that is merit based and use case based, and people that actually want to use our blockchain. We will reevaluate this and see that we replace it with something of more merit. That might take a little bit. So I have to ask for a little bit of patience there while we weed out the new structure with the new team. My apologize for all of this, but it is unfortunate that we had to find out that, unfortunately, the results were not completely reflecting reality. That's as much as I say now. We will release more about it in a little bit. My apologies for keeping you waiting, but I ask for a little bit more patience on this. And then the last one from Shakibul again. Which industries or sectors do you see adopting ChainsAtlas first? That's a really interesting one. We have seen interest in various sectors. We ourselves have very B2B driven projects on the Web2 side using our AI models that we would like to slowly move over to ChainsAtlas. There was a surprisingly low number of projects proposed in the classic meme token or meme agent space. And there was a surprisingly high number of real use cases. One we just discussed with Lem here in the call, right? Being at the heart of the governance of a social file platform is a good example. Another really interesting one is on the cybersecurity side, real-time auditing of smart contracts and DeFi protocols. So I think those will be the initial cases where we talk around governance of protocols, but also security of protocols, and obviously trading and investment. Our model, the initial model on our chain, will be very good at crunching numbers. Will be very close to the one you see in public release in that way, but specialized for blockchain. So those are the use cases where we see the initially the most interest. I think we are through with the questions. Are there two new ones while I was talking? Shakibul again, one last question to both of the team. How could Serey and ChainsAtlas benefit from merging, and which industries or stakeholders stand to gain from their collaboration?
I think just like I mentioned before, I think blockchain and AI is like a marriage made in heaven, right? If Serey focus on the blockchain, if ChainsAtlas focus on the AI layer, I think we can build something really amazing that can really solve real world.
I totally agree. I think governance is an underrated but very interesting use case for AI and blockchain in that very combination, because you have the accountability, you have the traceability, but you also have the decision-making abilities of AI, the inference of AI, the reasoning of AI, that is not driven by emotions, right? So I think it's a very fascinating combination. I hope that's answering your question.
Yes. Currently, we're already implementing AI on many things on Serey, and I would love to explore with ChainsAtlas how we can integrate your AI system on top of Serey.
Yeah, for sure. As soon as Definite is there, we get our tech teams to stick their heads together, and I'm sure we will see a lot of really interesting projects. Okay, let me move on to the last question planned. Could autonomous AI agents on blockchain create self-sustaining digital economies? That's going very much along the line we just discussed. Lem, what's your?
Could you repeat, Jan?
Yeah. Could autonomous AI agents on blockchain create self-sustaining digital economies?
Yes, I think that that is perfect actually for the self-sustaining economies. So much more efficient than the humans. It can replace so many things, and with a good blockchain infrastructure, I think that's really a marriage made in heaven. Actually, yeah.
Yeah, no, totally agree. I think this is something we are resonating a lot in the last few answers, but it's truly my strong belief, and I know it's yours as well. So it's definitely an exciting path to explore. With this, the hour is all pretty much done. Thank you so much, and it was a really fascinating convo outside the little rain breaks. So we deviated a little bit from the usual structure, but it was actually quite good. And we got quite a few really good questions thanks to the community. And see you again, I believe, sometime next week with Michelle Kang.
Next week.
Next
Okay.
week, yeah, because we had to move this by 1 week. So see you all again next week, also with a very fascinating guest from a CMO of Somnia and many other projects. She's a true blockchain marketing veteran, has seen a lot of big projects, has helped a lot of big projects to come to the status they are now. And yeah, we are happy that she's also helping a little bit with ChainsAtlas. But more about that next week. Thanks a lot for tuning in after a long break. It's really appreciated, and see you all again for the next episode of Linking the Blocks.